The worlds have collided. NXT versus NXT UK have gone to war. Just that, we are back. Union Smack Worlds Collide review. I am joined once again by my co-host, the Maniac Matt Tennant, the world-traveled Maniac Matt Tennant. What's going on, man? Though you are at your home base on this episode, though, holding down the fort, comfortable in your own settings this week. I'm glad you made it back safe from Blackpool and all that stuff, man. What's going on? Where can everyone catch you?
You can find me on Twitter at The Perfect Tenant. You can buy our official Union Smack Hibiki TMD reset button, Tenant Talks, Union Smack Hall of Fame shirts from our online store, unionsmack.bigcartel.com, and you will of course be able to purchase my book, NXT Year One, coming soon.
Cannot wait for that. If it's anything like Matt's Undertaker, A Trip Down Death Valley book, man, must read material, excuse me. And as always, if you're listening to us on Hibiki TMD on YouTube, thank you. Hit that red button right down below for all the best retro gaming and pro wrestling goodness. And right here, if you're catching us on ProWrestlingJournal.com, thank you to Drew Gilmore and everyone, all the fantastic writers for having us featured on here, the official wrestling podcast network of the site. If it happened in a ring, they're your thing. Matt, we are back. This technically wasn't a takeover show per se, but I'm going to count it as a takeover. It had the arena set up. It was much night and fucking day to where we were last year with Worlds Collide.
Oh, do you know what? I think I did a Tenant Talks segment on this when it was first announced, and I said, like, for this to be a success, they've got to take away the tournament aspect, the battle royal aspect. You know, they've just got to take away all the fuckery and just have it, you know, proper, like a proper fucking pay-per-view event. And you know what? They listened. For once, they listened to us, Travis.
Exactly. For the most part, I had no real qualms. I would go out of your way to catch this show. If you didn't, I wouldn't recommend last year's World Collide at all. I think it suffered from a completely dead crowd. It took place, WrestleMania weekend, taped over numerous days. It was just the way they pieced the tapings together were out of order, and it just didn't make fucking sense. I mean, there was like maybe two bright spots. I think Luke Harper at the time returned and got a great reaction. But other than that, I can't think of shit that happened last year, honestly. And I feel like this year's Worlds Collide is going to be a much more memorable show, hands down. And I feel like going forward, I think this is the route we're going to go every Rumble. We're going to get this NXT versus NXT UK special, which I'm all for if done right.
Yeah, me too. And like you said, it felt like a takeover. They presented it like a takeover, and all the stars on it, both NXT and NXT UK, whether they knew each other, they'd fought each other before or not, they treated it like, I'm not going to say like WrestleMania, but they treated it like a takeover,
like an all-star game. This felt like an all-star game.
Yeah, yes, it did. The intent was there to make it the best thing on Royal Rumble weekend, and succeeded again, knocked it out of the park.
Now that you just said that, Royal Rumble weekend, this took place in Houston. It took place in America. Now I'm curious to see what I would do every year to avoid what a lot of guys suffered this year. Next year I'd take it to the UK, and then the next year alternate it back to the US. That way, when you go over next year and you get a casual peeking into this show, you don't get them saying, why should I care about this Dragunov guy if this crowd doesn't give a shit? Why is he special? Because certain guys suffered from that. Fair to say on this show.
They did. But you know what? I was surprised. Pardon me. We'll get into the Dragunov stuff in a minute, but obviously this kicked off with the pre-show match. Now, I would have thought, even though I think she was at the Worlds Collide last year, definitely just like finding her feet in NXT UK, but I would have thought that fans in WWE would have known who Kaylee Ray was less than Ilya Dragunov. I know she had a bit, Survivor Series, Takeover War Games and that, but Dragunov is a well-travelled wrestler. He's been around, WXW, Unified World Champion. He's done a lot in a very short amount of time, Dragunov.
But I think the key thing is we've seen Kaylee Ray featured on NXT a lot lately, weekly, and we have yet to see Dragunov on any NXT, I think.
You know what? Yeah, I could say, but wasn't Dragunov at the. I can't fucking speak tonight, Travis. Wasn't Dragunov at the Worlds Collide last year?
I honestly cannot
Or am I imagining
remember.
that? So I should
Wait, I think he was. I think it was his.
I should know this.
I think it was his debut last year, but what I think it was is that it was a dark match and it never aired, and everyone was freaking out, leaking photos of it on Twitter, if I remember correctly.
Do you know what? Maybe. I know he definitely debuted before Worlds Collide last year, so he was part of the roster. So I'm gonna say he was either at Worlds Collide or he was at the UK tapings they did like around the World Collide episodes.
I did not actually see the dark match at all. I didn't watch any pre-show for this. What did you think, though?
Oh my god, you did not see it?
I did not. No, I did not.
You need to go back and watch it. This belonged on the main show. This was better than Rhea Ripley and Penny Storm. Like, Kaylee Ray did amazingly well with Mia Yim, who, you know, I don't rate Mia Yim at all as a wrestler. I know there's a lot of people out there go, Mia Yim, she's a great, you know, not really. Doesn't do it for me.
I think she's mid-card all day long. You know, sorry.
Mia Yim?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, well, and she did show it here. She didn't really lead anything, or she didn't really direct the match. Kaylee Ray took over, and she directed Mia Yim what to do. And obviously, when Mia Yim was in charge, it looked better because Kaylee Ray knew, you know, where they were going with it. And it was a very, very, very good match. I highly recommend this match. It's like got to be Mia Yim's best match in WWE, hands down.
Well, that's why I'm glad I do this with you, Matt. I have to go back and check that out now. See, I'm like the listeners. I'm learning something new.
God, you'll kick yourself for missing it long, Travis.
What did you think about the intro video package to this show with Winston Churchill and the way this was just done? I thought this was one of the best intros to any pay-per-view they've ever done in the history of this company. Hands down.
Yeah, agreed. Loved it. And I'm sure there were Americans in the audience going, why are you starting with a British man in it? But it's like the speech, the video package, the meaning behind it. It's like, it was like, you know, the whole premise is like a mini war. These two different, not countries, but obviously, you know, different parts of the WWE universe, if you want to call it that, they're going to war for the first time. And it's like, yeah. Loved it. It
was serious. It was taken serious. It wasn't just interpromotional brand warfare for the sake of it to sell a pay-per-view. Everything made sense and just to tie it all up in a package, you know.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was amazing.
They kicked off this show after the intro and you know, Todd Phillips and all the Nigel McGuinness, correct? On commentary?
I believe so. Is it bad I didn't even take note of the commentators?
It's been a lot of wrestling this weekend, so that's fair. It was Tom Phillips and somebody. You will say Nigel. Either way, it was Finn Balor who kicked off the show to a hero's fucking welcome, by the way. And that begs the question, and I know a lot of people weren't talking about it, and I feel like it needs to be addressed, even though we're not an NXT show. Is heel Balor really the route to go? Are people going to accept Finn Balor as a heel? I don't think they are. I feel like they want to cheer this guy no matter what.
Well, I've seen significantly less NXT TV than you. I think I saw... What did I say? I think I saw when he turned on Johnny Gargano. But I've not seen, like, a whole lot of his... heel character in NXT. So what's it been like?
Pretty much the tweener reaction. This has been the most lopsided it's been in forever, and a big case of that is a lot of people weren't enlightened as to who Dragunov was. I get that, but what is there really to boo in Finn Balor if you think about it on paper? The guy, if I was a kid right now, he'd be one of my favorite guys. He just comes off like the coolest guy in the room. He has this air about him. You know what I'm saying? It's just, what is there really to boo? And it's just, I feel like his heel turn, quote unquote, was a heel turn for the sake of a heel turn to get heads a turn. But at the end of the day, there's no end game with it. They don't really have a route where they're going. And I feel like that's so detrimental in cases to. I feel like Dragunov in this match with any maybe. What's the guy? I want to say Punishment Martinez, but I don't want to be pretentious. His name now is Jesus Christ, Damian Priest. If it would have been Damian Priest, I feel like the crowd would have been behind Dragunov a lot more. But Damian Priest doesn't sell tickets. Damian Priest doesn't get eyes on a show. And I get why Finn Balor was put in this role. But we knew from day one the match was announced. We both DM'd each other, and we knew exactly what was going to happen. And that's exactly what happened in this match. I'm not saying this match wasn't great and it wasn't stiff as hell and both guys got their stuff in. But like the Mustache Mountain match we'll get to later on, I just got a case of by the end of this, it felt like it was just a vehicle to make Finn Balor look more superior than a case of both guys being built up together.
Yeah, of course it was. They were never going to book Dragunov as a serious threat to Balor. Yeah, he got his stuff in. He looked good. He might have endeared himself to the fans who were just silent, like a fucking library when
Crickets.
he came out. But I just wish, and I love America, Travis. I just wish you Americans took more interest in NXT UK.
Oh,
It wasn't just the fact.
I'll say it right now. I DM'd you after the show and stuff. This show made me ashamed to be an American wrestling fan. You people, you bitch about you don't get your new stars and blah, 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 and you want something different. It's right under your noses. These guys are on the same network of guys you love watching with your Matt Riddles and all that shit. Same network. It's your fault. It's your fault you don't know who these guys are. I don't want to hear any bitching.
So you don't have to go out your way to watch it. It's bang next to NXT on the network. If you scroll down to where it says in ring, you go across, the second one in, NXT UK. It's just amazing. And the amount of people, before we get into this match, Travis, the amount of people on Twitter before Worlds Collide went live saying, I'm looking forward to Worlds Collide, but I have really no idea who the NXT UK stars are. And it's just like, why do you not watch? Are you in a little main roster bubble where you just pop into NXT once every 2 months when they have a takeover to jump on the bandwagon?
That begs another question. What? Is NXT UK in a place where it has that 205 Live stink on it? Where as much as I'll just fire up the network and they replay NXT UK and 205 Live episodes weekly a lot. It's always usually playing live, you know what I mean? But what is it about it where people just see that brand logo and they pass, Matt?
I don't know, because over here it's a big deal. It's like you've seen the takeovers and the reactions and the crowds and everything else. It is a big deal. Where the TV tapings don't always sell out, and there's always tickets left. Even 5 minutes before the show, the tapings start. But it is a big deal over here.
I think it's a lot of stubbornness, quite frankly. I'll be flat out honest. I don't care if this pisses some listeners off. I think it's a lot of stubbornness. I think it's a lot of people being meatheads, especially when you get USA chants in the year 2020 in your main event. I think it's shit like that. I think it's people who are just some casuals are just fucking Neanderthals, and I feel like they're so afraid to change. They're so afraid to broaden their horizons or try anything different, God forbid, but they're so content sitting in a pile of shit, and they know they're sitting in shit, and they complain they're sitting in shit, but they never want to reach for any toilet paper. I don't have sympathy for fans like that, and sometimes I feel like they are a complete goddamn leech on fandom of pro wrestling, I hate it.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
This match, it had me doing some thinking, and I say that because Dragunov, there was a spot in this match. I think it was a punch or a forearm shot where it hit Balor right in the back of the fucking neck, and it was stiff as hell. And I gotta say, Balor after that looked pissed throughout the rest of this entire match. And I feel like at the end of this, by the way, that was the most stiff, snug fucking coup de grace I've ever seen him hit, by the way. After this match, yeah, I feel like there might have been supposed to have been an embrace in script, like a handshake or but there was nothing. Balor couldn't wait to get out of that fucking ring. And that camera cut out of that match fast as shit. They didn't ever pan back to Dragunov because you thought maybe, after the match, they would have shown Dragunov like hurt but getting up in the crowd. You know, they were embracing him. There was none of that. They cut right the hell away. And I think Balor, I don't know if I've read anything in the dirt sheets, but I think there was some fucking, he was pissed, at least in the moment. Maybe it's just me watching this. I thought it made for an even better match, though, when they were giving each other receipts. I love that in pro wrestling.
I don't think it was just you. So the look on Balor's face at the end, it was almost like a fuck you, and then walk away.
Yeah.
So there was definitely, some animosity there. But
now, it could have been playing into his heel character, but I don't think he's that good of an actor. I mean...
No, he's Irish, of course he's not.
Yo!
Sorry, Ireland, we love you a little bit.
At least I do.
I don't. Travis adores you.
I'm like the fucking League of Nations over here. I love everybody. Matt's the hateful one.
Oh, for fuck's sake, where were we?
We're talking about Balor being pissed.
Oh yeah.
Before you shit on a whole country, we were talking about Balor being pissed.
Calm. Right. I was going to just change the subject slightly, Travis, and say, like, unpopular opinion, I didn't think this was as good as Dragunov and Cesaro in Cardiff.
I thought this was good for all the wrong reasons. Like I said, I love the receipts back and forth. I think at the beginning of this match, there was some serious miscommunication. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest crowd Dragunov's ever wrestled in front of, but that sunset flip botch was hard to watch at the beginning. And I was like, man, this is going to be a long night at first, but they salvaged it. But you know that spot I'm talking about where Dragunov, I don't know if he misjudged it when he went over Balor, but he short-sided it so much and Balor just kind of flopped on his stomach and it was ugly. Bowling shoe ugly, as JR would say back in the day.
Joe, I'm pretty sure he's wrestled in front of a bigger crowd at Progress, Hello Wembley.
Oh, yeah, that's right. How dare I?
I couldn't tell you, like... No, you're wrestling, man. No, I couldn't tell you, like, if there were more, in Wembley than there were in... where the fuck was this?
Houston. I can't remember the exact arena.
Yeah, somewhere in Houston.
The Houston Civic Center, we'll pretend.
I think if this wasn't the biggest crowd he'd wrestled in front of, then I think he knew it would definitely be the biggest television audience he'd ever wrestled in front of. Because this must have got more than Takeover Blackpool.
Definitely the biggest match he'd ever had.
Takeover Cardiff.
These guys had never met, like they'd said on commentary, and that's legit. I don't think they've ever met, and you could kind of tell that they'd never worked together in the beginning.
Yeah, the chemistry took a little bit of time to bleed through, didn't it? But
I feel like the U.S. crowd just doesn't get the gimmick in general. I think that's more of a culture thing. I don't think they get the whole classical conductor spiel. I don't think the American audience understands the gimmick, and I think Americans are so, it's ingrained in our culture and our media and our movies and all that shit that just when they see the big red evil Russian, that it's just supposed to be just that in our heads because of Ivan Drago's and all the shit we've just embedded in American culture, right? There's no such thing as a friendly Russian, is what we're growing up on.
That would have been a plus if the audience had treated Dragunov like that.
Well, I mean, they booed the shit out of him during the match. His entrance, he got nothing, but I feel like every time Dragunov did something in the match, they just booed him out of the building. They weren't having it.
Do you know what? I'd have to go back and watch it, because from what I remember from it, it was just like, don't care. Like, they were so into Balor that I don't actually remember them booing Dragunov that much.
This crowd was they were so into Finn Balor, it's like his heel turn had never happened. That's how into Balor they were for this.
Yeah.
You know?
Question. Do you think his heel turn has affected what he does in the ring? Because when I watched this, and I've only watched it once, I will obviously go back and watch it again because the whole event was very, very good indeed. But I feel like because this didn't live up to Dragon on Cesaro, I then went back and compared Balor's match with Riddle at the last Takeover, which wasn't great at all for me. And so now, because I don't watch NXT regularly, only when Pete Dunne's on it, Not that I'm shallow. It's like Bella's had that. Bella's had that iffy match with Riddle at Takeover. He's had a decent match with Dragunov here. It's like, has Finn Balor sort of had to tone down bits of his in-ring game to suit his new character, or is it just me?
I think it's a case of Balor. I think it's just Balor in general. I think he's done well in the transition from the New Japan style to WWE, but I feel like there's still always been kinks with Balor that need worked out still. That's just been my stance on every Balor match, though, heel or face.
If he goes into Takeover Portland and has a stinker with Johnny Gargano, then I think it's time to withdraw him for a little bit and work out what is best to do with him.
I can't ever honestly say that I've seen Finn Balor have a bad match or a stinker. I didn't hate the match with Riddle. You must despise that match. I don't remember not liking that match. I thought it was good for Balor. I just feel like it's that thing where Hideo Itami got bit by the injury bug, but even when Hideo Itami was healthy, I never saw him making that transition fully because something was just missing with him in a WWE ring in that style. And like I said, Finn Balor's had some great matches in WWE, but they're just one piece of that puzzle, and I'm with you, that's not there. I don't know what it is.
It's lacking. There's something lacking, and it's showing. For me, at least, it's showing. It's like I'm spotting it, but I think we're gonna have to wait till Portland to see.
Yeah. What an odd place to have a takeover, by the way, is Portland.
That is true. Just in the middle of nowhere. Stick a pin in the map. That's where you're going next.
I like how the theme for it too, because Portland's known for its trees, right? And the theme logo is a buzzsaw that cuts trees.
Can you imagine if Travis Banks came out? You'd love that.
Daniel Bryan must be boycotting the shit out of this pay-per-view logo, I'm sure. Where did that take us to next as worlds collided, Matt?
Oh my god. That took us to, if I'm not mistaken, the Fatal 4-Way Cruiserweight Championship match.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're thinking the same thing. What a match.
What a match. When I just see like just the entrances of the guys in this match, the word potential comes to my mind. I put a tweet out earlier, not NXT UK related at all, but he was in the match. Swerve Scott has so much star power to me when I watch him. Just his looks, his mannerisms, just has a great look, can work his ass off. He deserves much better than the Cruiserweight division. Angel Garza just puts a smile on my fucking face every time I see him. I don't know about you. My God. That guy, by the way, Angel Garza is perfect for the Cruiserweight division. Leave him there. The Cruiserweight division needs characters like that. He's fine there.
Yeah, don't promote him to the main roster or try to do it.
Don't Humberto Carrillo, or whatever his name is, with him. No, this match was tremendous. This was pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be, just a Cruiserweight clinic. This was, yes, a lot of Canadian destroyers and modern wrestling shit, but it's a Cruiserweight match, and I think with that banner and that moniker over this match, it makes me accept it a lot more subconsciously, and I think that's always been that way with this. When I hear Cruiserweight in any match going back to WCW, those guys got to pass more because it's Cruiserweight division. They're supposed to have that reckless kind of style. But this match was reckless, yet just told a beautiful kind of reckless. Some of the moves in this match were just tremendous.
Do you know what? From start to finish, I was glued to this match. Maybe it was because of Jordan Devlin. Like I said on the last episode of Union Smack, I don't see Travis Banks as a cruiserweight at all, so that's
right.
That took me out a bit. But he did well. Jordan Devlin was amazing. That little that little bounce back into the springboard cutter.
Yeah,
that was just divine.
You know what's so weird about this match? The elephant in the room. We got to talk about it. The reaction that Jordan Devlin got on his entrance kind of compared to what Dragunov got. And I think that's a case of what we were talking about in our last episode, where he's on that momentum now, Devlin, where he just got that kind of, I don't want to say career-making match with Bate now, but he's on the radar of a lot of fans that didn't know now. So I think he had that reaction going in because of his match with Bate, hands down. Dragunov is yet to have that real kind of match, you know?
I agree. Jordan Devlin can dine out on that match at Blackpool too for, the next 6 to 8 months.
I don't think we've ever been more on the same page than we have been in like the last 3 episodes recorded. I'm digging every bit of it. Not to toot our own horns, but you know.
can I just say the one thing I think they dropped the ball on in this match, and not the match itself. The match was fantastic. I think they dropped the ball, Travis, on presenting Garza with the new NXT Cruiserweight Championship before this, then to have him lose it. I would have gone completely the other way. I'd have kept the belt as it was. I'd have had Jordan Devlin win it.
Yeah.
And then I'd have had him come out on NXT on Wednesday with the new belt under the cloth and the old, shitty purple belt, and I'd have had him trash the title. I'd have had him trash everyone who held it. The arrogant Irishman who's come to America, won your title, and thinks he can do what he wants with it. And then I'd have had him, reveal the new title, throw the old title, and then say, look, I wrestle for NXT, I don't wrestle for WWE, this is now my title, my division, and I will take this title back to the UK, defend it there, and if anyone here wants it, then step up.
For anyone listening, wondering how to book a goddamn wrestling show and how to build a guy up with heel heat, there you go. That's exactly what I would have done too. Not only does it's building him and the title up, and then him and that new title are always kind of intertwined, so it gives him kind of a lineage.
Yeah.
Like when you think of certain belts, you think of guys like that,
So, and you think of all the Americans who have held it. If he was to come out and go like, this belt, hold up the purple and go, this belt is trash, just like all the Americans who have held it before.
He comes out and he goes, this purple piece of shit symbolizes everything that was wrong with this division for years, and I'm here to remedy that. Because it's not just a new division, it's a new banner for the division, or some kind of shit, and you run with that. And see, sometimes if a fan watches that, it's also in a way in their heads, maybe that plants the seeds as this is a whole new era for the entire show then, and it gives them, I actually want to watch 205 Live, because they're changing the game. God forbid.
That's it. And you know what? It might have drawn more eyes to NXT UK as well, because I'm assuming he's going to bring it over here before he loses it.
Yeah. Let's not be bitter old men totally. You know what's really fun to say? Just sometimes in life you get words that are fun to say out loud. Devlin side.
Yeah. I don't think we've done podcast enough where we've had to say that.
It's been far too long since we reviewed any Jordan Devlin match together, and I'm just happy enough to be doing that with you once again as we hold true and near dear to our word, weekly NXT UK reviews, Iron Man style this week. Jordan Devlin with the win with the Devlin side. Oh, it makes me so happy to say that word. And between that and Edge last night at the Royal Rumble, I think I've had my mark out moments for 2020 in the books already. I think I'm good for the year. I was so happy to see, and I even told you, I had a feeling watching just how they booked him on episode 78. I had a feeling they're going to do something like this with Jordan Devlin. And I feel like the belt's going to be showcased now on NXT UK more, because God knows that belt, that brand needs a second tier belt more than any probably right now, more than NXT, in my opinion, because you got the North American goddamn title.
I just hope that this isn't a transition for Devlin to NXT like on a more regular basis, because we don't want to lose him in NXT UK. But then NXT UK tapings are like once every 2 months, held over 2 nights, so it shouldn't affect him being here too much. Yeah.
After the match, I feel like he got a good reaction when he won the belt too. After the match, he something refreshing also. He cut a promo. He stood on the announce tables and pretty much gave the speech what they should have done, what we just fantasy booked. This is the speech he should have gave with the new belt, but he did it right here. It was fine. And then we got ourselves a new cruiserweight champion. I know you were probably ecstatic just like me watching this, and I know Rocky Bio was probably happy as shit.
It's nice to look at a man like Jordan Devlin, and it's like before the UK tournament in 2017, it's like no one in America knew him, and they're lying if they say they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like 2.5 years later, nearly 3 years later, we can say Jordan Devlin is a NXT champion. All right, it's the cruiserweight title, but look how far he's come.
Yeah.
Love it.
They also had, after this, they would they do it with different groups. They did it with Undisputed Era later on, but they would show Imperium backstage with like their flag banner behind them, which I love that little aesthetic here.
Yes.
And it was just Walter rallying the troops, getting them pumped up. What did you think of the banner and how it was shot?
Sorry, I lost you there for a second.
No, I was saying it was just Walter pumping up the troops. And what did you think of this little clip?
I mean, it's difficult because I like seeing things like that, but at the same time, it's like, geez, I don't need to hear Walter talking again. You know, you've got an American audience sitting out in the arena. Some of them might not know him. Judging by the entrance and everyone singing his song, you know, the likelihood is everyone knew it. But there might be some people who don't. So now you've got a chance to say to the people who don't know him, look at this big, fucked off monster who is going to snap your champion in half. And then, when's the last time he was in America? But I'm not counting Survivor Series, Travis. That was fucking awful.
Jesus Christ. Not in WWE, but I feel like last year in like PWG against Adam Cole.
Do you know what? I think Evolve might have been even sooner than that.
Or it was Evolve, not PWG. One of the two.
Okay, let's not say Evolve. Let's say WWE. I think the last time he was in front of an American audience in WWE, I'm going to go back to last year, the NXT UK tapings around WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
It might have been after that wrestling war. Oh, it was, wasn't it? It was NXT, Kushida, all the Kushida stuff.
Right, and then he just went away.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you've not seen him for 4 months, maybe. So now it's time to reintroduce him to an American audience. Look what he's been doing in 4 months. You know, he's become this moody giant, doesn't want to talk, he just wants to kick your head in.
Yeah.
And I don't always like it when they make them talk.
If anything, they should have gone out of the way for the past month to make you forget about Survivor Series and why we should care about Walter, you know?
God.
Jesus.
I think everyone, we haven't had a chance to talk about Survivor Series on the podcast.
Thank God, because we'd probably be off the air by now.
I think everyone in NXT UK, like fans, have just tried to forget about it. Because Walter's come out since that and said like he didn't care about that night, he just wanted to get it done. And it's just like, oh my God, how could you do that to him?
Matt, was this... I don't have anything written down. I'm going off memory, but it's pretty fresh. Was this the promo building up the Dusty Classic finals coming up this week?
I believe it was, yes.
Holy shit!
I fully expected this to be added to the card last minute because it's NXT versus NXT UK. I thought, perfect opportunity.
Well, I think it gives people a reason to watch NXT this week, too. And I think, honestly, if this had been on the card, it might have been a case of too much. There were so many dream matches and just so much good in-ring on this. Would it really have just got kind of just overshadowed, honestly?
What, Pete Dunne? Are you mad?
Pete Dunne and 3 other guys.
Yeah, but, I mean, Matt Riddle will take or leave, whatever the saying is, but Grizzled Young Veterans and Pete Dunne on the same card.
I just think the fact that we had DIY and Mustache Mountain such an epic fucking dream tag match that this, I don't know, man. I mean, it could have worked.
Yeah.
It could have worked. Who knows? But either way, I'm glad we got this promo because we got a marijuana reference from Pete Dunne, and you know that made me smile from ear to goddamn ear. What did you think?
Oh, sorry, I lost you.
No, what did you think of this promo and just...
Do you know what? I loved it. I loved how Matt Riddle played off of Pete Dunne's... What do you call it? Not bitter. I mean, he looked bitter in the face.
Frowny face.
He's plain-faced. Just, you know what? Nothing bothers me. I loved it when he said, that is his happy face.
Yeah. He said, I'm sure my partner's over there smiling from ear to ear, and they looked over to Pete Dunne, and he's just doing the Pete frowny face.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think going forward, Travis, because we're not going to get a chance to talk about this. You know,
Go ahead.
how it ends, where it ends. And I sent out a tweet this week.
You just want any excuse to talk about Pete Dunne, but it's okay. We'll run with it. Go ahead.
You know me so well.
I do.
Yeah. This either ends with a Pete Dunne heel turn, or it ends with them NXT Tag Team Champions and then a heel turn.
On the same page again, I've been thinking that they're going to do what they did with him and Roderick Strong, but they're going to flip it, where it's Pete turning on the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they've pretty much done all they can with the babyface Pete Dunne right now. There's too many baby faces in NXT, I feel like.
Yeah. And do you know, a 2017 Pete Dunne, character-wise, I think would push him to the next level at NXT, because as far as I've seen, like this thing with Riddle is the biggest thing he's done, apart from, you know, Survivor Series stuff.
Matt, you know what time it is? Still there?
Tell me what time it is.
It is throwback time.
I'm still here. Throwback time.
We're suffering a little bit of lag. It's all good. I'm going to go back to a time, Sam Gradwell, when we got that great Pete Dunne heel attack on Sam Gradwell at the first UK tournament, right? I miss that Pete Dunne, and we've only got glimpses of a heel Pete Dunne. Go back and look at him in British Strong Style in Progress. I can't wait for a heel Pete Dunne if we get it.
You know what? It's like, I think if it's played right, it could be better than the Ciampa turn on Gargano.
We'll see.
I don't just want it to be like a repeat of Roderick Strong. I don't want it to be like, oh, Matt Riddle's about to pin Kyle O'Reilly or Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
And just turns on him right at the end. I want it to be I want it special, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think you can already see seeds being planted of Pete Dunne not sort of agreeing with Matt Riddle or like the character he is, and it's just like,
yeah,
first chance I get. If we don't win these titles, if we don't win this tournament, then that's it. Turn.
Yep, I gotta agree. It's going to be interesting either way, and I'm excited for this week's NXT just for Pete. Was it now time for the epic tag showdown match, Matt?
Oh yes.
When I saw this when I saw this match was first announced and I saw the tweet, I literally, Matt, shit my pants and I had to go change.
Well, I don't think that's a picture we wanted. You know.
Well, it's a picture you guys got either way. My God, what a dream match. What a dream match announced. I haven't been hyped for a match in a very long time going in. This was one of those that brought me back to wrestling. My God. And I feel like for the most part delivered. My only qualm is what we said earlier. I kind of got that feeling it was a vehicle to get the big reunion over more than the biggest stars in UK wrestling right now.
Yeah, you know, I think I sent you a message on Twitter after this, and it felt like, you know what, I'm not going to take anything away from it. We're not going to be down on it because it was a great tag team match.
Yes.
But you know, like you said, I feel like Mustache Mountain were booked as inferior, not by much, but they were booked inferior to DIY. And it annoys me because Tyler Bate is obviously over in America. Trent Seven seems to be over in America. I heard smatterings of Trent Seven Army.
Yeah.
And
that made me proud to be an American wrestling fan. You guys redeemed it a little bit.
Yeah, well done. But yeah, I just think you should have booked them equal. And obviously, Mustache Mountain, I know they're in their separate feuds right now, and Trent Seven's still got the stuff going on with Eddie Dennis, and Tyler Bates got some stuff coming up with Joseph Connors in the coming weeks. But you know, at the heart of it, they're still a tag team right now, and to book the actual tag team inferior to the one night only reunited tag team, I think was a bit of a kick in the face.
Plus, their plain NXT tag team title win and run was kind of lackluster and booked like shit, too. They weren't ever treated like anything special other than when they won them at the second annual UK tournament.
That's it. That title win, I feel, was just done to not just add a bit of spice, but give us an actual memorable moment.
Exactly, and I feel like them winning those belts was also, they only won them just for people to tune into the first episode of NXT UK.
Yeah, by the time which they didn't even have them.
Exactly. So, there, WWE logic in a nutshell, right there. No, the match.
Also, it gave us two very, very spectacular tag team matches.
Yeah.
Between them in the Undisputed Era, but apart from that, it's like, glad it happened, but it had so much potential.
This match, when we talk about magic and just spectacle, it wasn't quite on the levels of Bate and Devlin from last week, but it was almost there. It definitely had that spectacle feel, and it was awesome to see these two teams finally go at it, and just the embrace after, and everybody got their stuff in, and blah blah blah. The crowd obviously knew who Mustache Mountain was. DIY got a monstrous reaction in comparison, but it's also the reunion. You got to take that into account,
Yeah, I think if I'm looking at it with a level head and not just Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, obviously two of my favourites alongside Pete Dunne, on the main stage, etc., etc. It's just I feel like the reunion of DIY cast a shadow over this ever so slightly. Like people were more bothered about that than they were about seeing these two great teams go at it.
People were too worried more about, oh look, the DIY logo's in blue now, than oh my god, Mustache Mountain's wrestling in America for once.
Do you know what? If this had been in the United Kingdom on an NXT UK special or a takeover over here, I think it would have come off even better because we wouldn't have been so in awe of DIY reunion.
Dare I say DIY might have gotten a mixed reaction to have it happen in the UK. I mean, we're talking about UK wrestling royalty in this match right now.
Yeah.
I
don't think that came across to the American audience.
No.
The American audience, if you've seen the takeovers and the episodes of NXT UK, you know how revered Mustache Mountain / British Strong Style are over here.
Dude, you could even see it in the pre-match video package to this. Even how WWE in this little vignette here build up DIY's credentials and resume so much more just in the amount of video clips. And and they've just done a piss poor job to let casual fans know why they are UK wrestling royalty. Because all a casual or anything took away from this is, they're just really good wrestlers with some of the best over there. I think he's been champion. Not, my God, they've been dominate for about a fucking decade over there,
Exactly. If they'd have bothered to go into the backstory of Mustache Mountain and really build them up as the wrestling royalty they are over here, then maybe the American audience would have got it more. But I'm in the camp of you can't really get it unless you live here and support British wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you don't get it, but I don't think people get it as much as if you were here and had been here for all the time.
I think it's another thing too. I think it's something that's just it's human nature, it's cultural differences, and I don't think Triple H and William Regal and all these fucking guys are going to take that into account. They think it's just going to go off without a hitch, and I don't think they foresee the cultural things are actually real, and people have a hard time accepting things they don't get. They just don't understand.
Yeah. Do you know what would have helped this match even more? Could you not have had DIY compete in a tag team match or two on NXT television?
Yeah.
And then bring them into Worlds Collide, where it's not then such a big deal that it's a reunion, and people can focus more on the match and the spectacle that we're getting, rather than Gargano and Ciampa reunited. This is a brilliant moment in time.
I don't think it would have been a big of a deal, but now looking back, I would have actually not minded had this had been the Time Splitters versus Mustache Mountain, because then you get a chance to elevate a team at the same time. It's still a dream match.
Yeah, I mean,
That way, like you said, fans aren't just taken aback and focus on this fucking reunion deal. Yes, the Time Splitters, they had their reunion on NXT already. It already happened, but they're still a big deal right now. It's still a dream match. But I feel like had it been the Time Splitters, it wouldn't have come off so lopsided in the build and just the pacing and some of the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Who knows? Man, that's a dream. Now I really want that match. I shouldn't have said that. God, that would be an amazing match, honestly. This was an amazing match. We're not saying, by all means, go out of your way to check this out. I got to say this about NXT UK already. We're a month into the year, and they're already pretty much giving us a 3-disc best-of set right now with just the amount of matches and quality they're putting out. Tremendous.
Of course I'm going to agree with that. So, yeah. Can I just say, though, it might have been me, but Trent Seven looked like a bag of shit in this.
A little beaten up, probably, too.
Oh, well, I mean, after Takeover and obviously the NXT UK tapings in York, no spoilers. Yeah, I can see it, but I don't know. He just looked older and fatter.
I don't know, but when the fuck did Tommaso Ciampa start transforming into Hollywood Hogan? Someone want to fill me in when that took place? Could he get any tanner? Shit.
He's quite orange, wasn't
he? Jesus Christ. But it was a good match. Great stuff. Yeah. Could the rest of this card follow that, Matt? They're going to have quite the uphill battle. Because quite frankly, I feel like Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm didn't. They didn't give us dog shit, but they didn't give us something they're capable of. Just the quality we've seen out of both before, and just, you know what it is? I don't think I've ever seen these two in the same match. I think it's a chemistry issue again. There's just something about these two that's missing. Because every time they under-deliver for me. And I hate to say that because I respect and love both women so much, but Jesus, when are you going to get it?
But they're not. This has to be the last time because they've had 4 matches now. This is the 4th match they've had, and it's just like it's still not working. And Rhea Ripley is a bigger character now. She's actually nailed down her. I don't know what the word is. She's nailed down her gimmick. She's beloved in America. Everyone knew who Toni Storm was. If they were going to get it, if they were going to click and deliver a classic, it would have been at Worlds Collide.
Who would have predicted when we first started doing this show years ago, by the way, that Rhea Ripley would break out before Toni Storm?
Yeah, I know. It's
way more.
That came as a surprise, didn't it?
It's not even close who's more popular either. It's not even close.
No, she takes it by a mile.
But Matt, I don't feel like I have a lot to say about this match because I feel like they've had the same match every time they've had a match.
Yep. And you know what? I will say, if we're ranking them, this was the 2nd best match I've had.
Yeah.
That's the highest praise I can give it.
I will say, in comparison to other performers from NXT UK on the show, both women got a better reaction than most.
Yeah, but can I just say, Toni Storm looked like she didn't give a shit.
Nope. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going there. She looked complacent. She looked like she was collecting a check. And I hate to say that because she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, but you can't deny the facts, man.
And I applaud Rhea Ripley for trying because she did try. You saw it, like she was selling.
Yeah.
When she was on the offensive, she was like bitter and that. And Toni Storm was just like, "Oh, is it over yet?"
Right. I know you, and by the way, I know you're not as big on superficial things about wrestling as I am sometimes and aesthetics, but whoever came up with the way Rhea Ripley's entrance goes down needs a raise because it's one of the best entrances in pro wrestling right now. Just the way just everything about it, the music, how it's timed. I love it.
Yeah.
She truly looks like she could rip your spinal cord out if you pissed her off. She's one of the most legit looking. I don't know if she really is legit in real life, but she looks it and she nails her gimmick down to a T, and it's scary. I put the tweet out the other day that we praise the performers we praise the most on this show weekly, Matt, are the youngest on the roster in NXT UK. How scary is it how young a Jordan Devlin, Tyler Bate, Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley is, and they're already so incredibly goddamn good, like they've been doing this for 20 years. It's insane. What's in the water over there, Matt? Why are you all geniuses when it comes to wrestling?
Do you know what? I don't know, but I'm glad we are.
Me too, or
That's the
this show
best
probably
answer I
wouldn't
can give
exist.
you.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you have any extras you want to put on the match.
I mean,
Rhea Ripley gets the win.
yeah, with the Riptide. I don't know. I'm just gonna say, like, I'm glad Rhea Ripley has risen to the point she's at, because obviously, if for those who followed her in NXT UK and etc., it's like she has deserved it. She wasn't always brilliant in the beginning. She had a lot of things to polish and shine, but she did it while she was learning. I think Survivor Series weekend, that was her weekend, and they obviously see something in Rhea Ripley that they don't in Toni Storm, because I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Considering what's come out about Tessa Blanchard, I can't predict why anyone's booked any way they are anymore. Who knows how Toni Storm is in real life? Who knows how anyone is in real life anymore? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to predict why people were booked certain ways when they're so talented.
But then again, it's like Toni Storm hasn't, and I've got to bring this up, Travis, before it eats me alive. Toni Storm, she's a great wrestler, we all know that. But after, I think it was Blackpool, was it Blackpool? Maybe. After Blackpool, it's like people came out in the wrestling community on Twitter, blah, 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 and they were saying, like, and there was one particular person who said Toni Storm is so good she should be head of a division, and like you put her at the head of a division, and that'll be the best women's division in the world. You don't watch NXT UK clearly. She's been the head of a women's division. She was the head of the NXT UK women's division for 8 months, and she nearly killed it off.
And it was the worst 8 months in the history of this NXT UK women's division. Let's be honest. As good as she is, some people are not anchors. They cannot hold down a ship. She needs a great dance partner. She needs to always be booked in that kind of David and Goliath babyface role, always chasing the dominant heel of the division. That's the Toni Storm I'm booking.
That's it. So can we stop? People just stop saying these stupid things when you obviously haven't seen what's already happened.
Exactly.
It pisses me off, Travis.
Let's
watch it and then put your opinion forward.
Yeah. Do your homework, people. It's that simple. The main event of this show, unfortunately, Matt, is going to take a little serious tone. Yes, we all know it's Imperium versus Undisputed Era. Literally about 4 minutes into this match, Alexander Wolf was kicked right in the face accidentally by Bobby Fish on a double team move with Kyle O'Reilly. Knocked out. Knocked completely the fuck out. Credit to Drake Wirtz, the referee, who called it right away. They called an audible on the fly. You could see it on camera, him mouthing to Bobby Fish. It's 3-on-4 now. Shit happens. This infuriated me on Twitter this week, actually. Every time this happens now, when it's a men's match, it's always thrown in our fucking face by these feminist, liberalist pieces of shit sometimes on here saying, well, if it was Brie Bella, you'd be asking for her career. Jesus Christ. Look, I don't care if it's a man, a woman, a fish, a goddamn dog. I don't care if it's a continuous thing, then it's an issue. Look at Mabel. I thought Mabel should have been fired in 95 and never brought back. Ever. Some people are just reckless and don't belong in a ring, and safety comes first. And Bobby Fish is one of the most professional, best workers in the world and one of the safest guys. Shit happens, though. Shit happens. Get over it.
Yeah, accidents happen, and Bobby Fish, I don't recall Bobby Fish ever injuring anyone before this, so
He's always injured, if anything. He's always on the DL.
Yeah, that is true. I was concerned for Alexander Wolf. Like, he looked like he was completely out of it. But I think they did a good job of covering it. They did a good job of getting him out, and the other 7, I think, did a remarkable job of carrying on what they were going to do without the 8th man.
Exactly. Now, God forbid this had been Walter Adam Cole this happened to. Then you got to rethink all your inks and go back to 1. But, it kind of took a lot from the main event, because after it happened, that's all I was looking at on social media, like just updates on what happened and was that a shoot or a work. And it's unfortunate when that happens, and it takes away a lot of heat from a match. The match wasn't awful, but you got to admit, it wasn't the same.
No. I mean, it's hard because Alexander Wolf is a good wrestler. We've seen that on NXT UK, like the things he's done with Jordan Devlin and Dragunov. But I can't foresee him of having a big effect on the match anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, obviously, you don't want anyone to get injured, but I think removing him made Imperium look even more dominant.
It did, and I was thinking too, am I an asshole if I say that? And it's cynical, but in a way it kind of worked, you know?
Yeah, it did. It's like you've got these four on three now, and surely even with Walter they can't win it, but they did. It's like Fabian Eichner was fantastic, Marcel Bartel was amazing,
Yeah.
and then of course you've got Walter, who I will say for a lot of this match I felt was booked slightly more inferior to Undisputed Era than I would have liked.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Undisputed Era kind of came off as little kids in there with actual pro wrestlers in a way at certain points. Just momentum shift wise in the match and certain hot tag sequences. Yeah. That I feel like Imperium came off as a much better team. Now, I'm sure Bobby Fish was a little shooken up after this happened with Alexander Wolf, and that obviously affected probably some of his ring work, but it wasn't too noticeable. Yeah. Like, that just speaks to how much pros they are, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, this is going to upset some people, but I'm not a fan of Undisputed Era as a group.
Wow.
Like, not like that, but not all of them. Like, I preferred Undisputed Era when Bobby Fish was injured.
See, I preferred it when Roderick Strong wasn't in the group. I preferred it when it was just Red Dragon and Adam Cole, honestly. And I feel like there's going to be I feel like they're kicking Roderick Strong out soon, ever since he lost to North America, because they keep referencing on commentary all the time now. That one piece of the puzzle's missing now due to Roderick Strong losing. And you can even see it in how they're booking it, how he kind of looks disheveled and he let the team down, you know?
Yeah. Do you know what? I think they're all going to lose the titles by the end of Portland. I think it's done. I think they're going to the main roster.
I think a year from now the group's not even together at all. There's a bold prediction.
I think Roderick Strong is probably back in NXT in the Cruiserweight division.
We'll see.
Adam Cole's being used as a hopefully strong Intercontinental title guy, and Fish and O'Reilly are being buried in the tag team division. I hope not, but you know, what the cynic in me says, Vince is going to look at them all and go, they're not main event talent.
They go out, they hurt guys. We're not putting them out there. Jesus. That was that.
Look how Vince put Walter at Survivor Series, and that's Walter, right? Imagine what he's going to do to Adam Cole.
See, I think, if anything, Adam Cole's going to be treated like gold. I think they have such a hard-on for Adam Cole. I feel like Triple H and Shawn and all those guys are in Vince's ear so much. Look at how Adam Cole was booked through the fall and the end of 2019. Even on the main roster, you know.
Was he on the main roster that much? I mean, I know they had
through the fall and the beginning of December, yeah, he was pretty much weekly on Raw and SmackDown featured in a match, getting wins more times than not.
Oh, but you say again, the cynic in there, it's like, but that's why he was, while he was part of the NXT roster, it's like, what is going to happen when they get full creative control over him? Well, Triple H doesn't get a say.
It's not too early to have a New Year's resolution, Matt. Or not too late, I should say.
Oh, God. Some resolutions, though, Travis, are just so hard to, it's hard to stick to. I can't stop being pessimistic about the main roster.
And who could blame you? This show, Worlds Collide, did not leave me feeling pessimistic. It was a good night of wrestling. I would recommend this show, Matt. I'm going to grade Worlds Collide. I'm going to grade it a B+. Simply because it just, yes, certain reactions broke my heart the guys got, but the Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm match made me zone out, quite frankly. And it took me a lot to get back into the main event. And then not to mention, now it's time to get back into it. It's main event time. Oh, a guy's like knocked out. Now that's taking me out. And this pretty much the second half of this pay-per-view didn't do what the first half did for me. And that's my take on it.
No, I agree. If anything, you could have replaced the women's match with the pre-show women's match, and the card would have flowed so much better. But, little things. I didn't like how Mustache Mountain were portrayed as lesser. I didn't like how Walter was portrayed as lesser, even if it was just for a short amount of time. The women's match, it was just their usual. They didn't do anything we hadn't seen before.
Yep.
But I'm gonna give this an A- because, just like the growth of Jordan Devlin, like it almost came full circle here. That was wonderful to see.
Yeah.
Mustache Mountain put in a great performance, even though they were, not booked as such. And obviously Imperium and Walter, they just looked killer after Wolf had been injured. I think performance-wise, this was a strong A-.
Yeah, the in-ring on this was pretty much top-notch for the most part.
Yeah.
Sans the ladies. Yep.
Yeah.
Simultaneous, we said at that time. We couldn't wait to shit on Tony Storm's match quick enough. Matt, we did it. Worlds Collide is in the books. This long day of recording is in the books. We did it. I'm so proud of us. Barry Horowitz, pats on the back all around. One more time before we get out of here. My friend, my co-host, my confidant, my comrade. Where can everyone catch you?
You can catch me on Twitter at The Perfect Tenant. You can buy all our official merchandise from our online store, unionsmack.bigcartel.com. More coming soon, and you can buy my second book, NXT UK, Year 1, in the next few months. It is nearing completion, Travis. Every day I get a little bit closer.
Good things come to those who wait. That's all that came to me. I cannot wait for the book. As always, here on ProWrestlingJournal.com, all the fantastic writers of At in the Ring, they're your thing. The official Pro Wrestling Podcast Network of ProWrestlingJournal.com right here. Thank you again for your work featuring us. That red button down below, hit it if you're catching us on Hibiki TV and YouTube. Oh, the best retro gaming and pro wrestling. Until next time, Union Smack. Cheerio, kids.